Hello, everyone.
Hi, Doug. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Sure, my pleasure.
Hi, Doug. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, Charlie.
Good.
Life. It's not.
Carlene just sent us an email wishing all the best.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Is anybody else having trouble staying quiet during this? I want to say hi to everybody that's joining us. I see all these great names popping in, and it's great to have you on board with us. Sasha and Bernita and Michael Hughes, and I saw, hold on a second, who else is here? William Blackman, haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you with us.
I want to give you a real big hug, Dr. Littlefield.
I know, I miss you. I miss you.
Miss you also, Dr. Littlefield.
Thank you, you too. Ashley, Dr. Singleton, we may want to add to our notes to ask people to put their name on, to update their name so it appears like how they registered or how their student name appears, or even alumni name.
Okay, we'll do.
Track of everybody.
Hey, Mr. Blackman.
Hi, Dr. D. How are you?
Good.
Very good.
Good to you.
Same here.
Brad, I saw your name.
Yes.
Brad.
Hey, Dr. Davida Rembert, how you doing?
Hi, neighbor.
Hello, Dr. Glenn.
Hello, how are you?
See, Brad, you can't hide from me.
No, I stop by your house all the time. I don't see you. I'm afraid to knock on the door.
Knock on the door. Well, COVID, I guess. Yeah, okay, I got
I'll
it.
wear my mask.
Yeah.
Well, you can call me back.
All right, bye.
Don't be all crazy. Let me mute.
Dr. Tolliver Roberts is in the house.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Rita. How are you?
Good.
How are you?
Good. It's Monday. We will be starting shortly, everyone. Please make sure that you type your name in according to how you registered, because that helps us to keep track. That's just a little housekeeping. We will be starting momentarily.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Registered.
Yes, whoever said that.
Donna?
You don't necessarily have to put it in the chat, but just make sure you put it across your screen.
Oh, wow.
So across your screen, it should be the same as you registered for the event.
It is.
Okay, great.
Trying to figure out how to do this. Nah, I did. Okay. This just says record.
So if you go up to your box, there should be, if you click on your picture, go to your picture, and there should be a blue box in the right-hand corner at the top with 3 dots. If you click on that box, it should allow you to rename yourself. And that's how you do it.
Okay, can you see me now? Donna Felder?
Yes, Donna.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay. Stop video.
We will start exactly at 6:05 right about now. Dr. Littlefield, can we begin?
Absolutely. Let me turn off the screen share. There you go.
All righty. Okay, so I guess everyone could hear me. Good evening, everyone. You could have been anywhere. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to hang out with us, Peirce College. And on behalf of Peirce College, my name is Dr. Malika Singleton. I'm associate professor here at Peirce College in the General Education Department, and I want to bring you greetings upon Peirce College. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Peirce College. Proudly hosts Preparing for the New Normal, transitioning for success in collaboration with Philadelphia's Minority Enterprise Development Week, better known as Med Week. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you are ready for an exciting night to learn a lot of good information from our panelists today. We are looking forward to hear some feedback from you and gain your questions so that we can have an interactive night this evening. You're going to learn a lot of good information because this is our new normal, right? So we're going to learn how to live in our new normal, how to be an entrepreneur in this new normal, how to be successful in this new normal. So we don't want you to hold on to information. We want you to definitely ask those questions, and we're going to share as much information that we can. So let me just go over a little housewarming or a little house information to help you along with our program tonight. So first, we need you to be energetic. We want you to put your questions in that chat room and ask away. So you did the first homework assignment, and that was to put your name in your box. So we want to see, and we want to see you if we can, but we also want to know who's here with us. So make sure you put your name in correctly according to how you registered. Okay. Also, we want to inform you that you're being recorded tonight. Okay, there will be door prizes will be given out, and I know everyone likes door prizes. So if your name is called, send us a private message with your address during the event, and we will send you the prize. So it pays to be here and to stay here. Next, there's going to be a grand prize, and it will be given out at the end of the event. Okay, so you must make sure you are here. You must be present to win. The grand prize is a 3-hour session with Michelle Larkin, founder and CEO of UMI Connections, a firm dedicated to igniting creativity and inspiring collaboration in the workplace. This prize has a value, hold on, a value of $375. So you don't want to miss out on that. So make sure that you stay until the end so that you can get that grand prize. We would like to thank our lovely supporters and a team, because it takes a team effort to bring this to you today. Dr. Mary Ellen Caro, which is our president and CEO of Peirce College. Dr. Rita Tolliver Roberts, the provost and vice president of academic affairs. Tracy Thomas, assistant dean, student support services for funding and support. Kelsey Lazicki and Carlene Sloan, our marketing and communication experts at Peirce College. And how could we not forget, and we want to acknowledge, our midweek planning team. Dr. Charlene Glenn, I want you to raise your hand so people can see you. Dr. Charlene Glenn, professor of business administration. And I'm sure many of your students or former students have joined us tonight. Dr. Malika Singleton, your mistress of ceremony, associate professor of general education. Ms. Janet Taylor, class of '86, business division advisory board member and president, Totally Organized LLC. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Kathy Littlefield, professor and faculty chair of the business department. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time, efforts, and talents for putting on and putting together this wonderful event this evening. I have the pleasure and the privilege of introducing to you right now, Dr. Rita Tolliver Roberts, the provost and vice president of academic affairs. Dr. Tolliver Roberts.
Thank you, Dr. Singleton. So we can joke, right? Why did they put me after Dr. Singleton? I have to make sure I have enough energy. So good evening, and thank you for joining us. I certainly understand how precious your time is, and just to add one more Zoom meeting to your schedule, that certainly demonstrates the value that you have placed on tonight's event. So thank you for attending. Again, I would like to thank the Peirce Midweek Planning Team. Congratulations for all of your hard work. I look forward to tonight's discussion. And of course, I would like to thank our special guests for this evening, Doug Williams, Dr. Smith, Takia Chesson, and Bridget Cunningham. Thank you for your time, service, and talent. Peirce College, founded in 1865, has a long history of being innovative and transformational. We were one of the first schools to welcome women, yes. We exclusively have led in serving adult learners, and of course have led in offering full degree programs online. So even in these COVID times, Peirce continues to transform and prepare for the new normal by determining best pathways to support adult learners and the workforce community. So you might ask, well, how? I'll tell you. We newly established a Center for Workforce Innovation and Partnerships, focused on creating flexible and affordable pathways to obtaining industry-recognized credentials and skills. We are currently ensuring a safe learning community for our students. That means we are remaining remote for the next few months. But we added more supports for our students. We are ensuring that our students have ongoing contact with their faculty and support team, and we added a synchronous or real-time learning component to all Peirce College courses. We understand that training is critical, and we all have a lot of new technology to test out. And so we ensure that we offer ongoing training for our students to utilize tools like Zoom. Sometimes you forget to mute, right? So utilizing tools like Zoom, and to also utilizing other tools that maximize their learning. Peirce continues to expand its academic offerings, ensuring that we offer market-relevant, stackable credentials and certificates. And finally, I'll just end with a note about self-care. We understand the importance of prioritizing self-care. We all know how important it is to take a part of resources that are available through our jobs, our learning environment, our communities. It's important that we understand what techniques work best for us so that we're effective in this new hybrid workspace that we're all in, so that we're effective as new teachers, right? For those of us that have young ones. And so that we're available to not only love ourselves, but to love those that we are with every day. So again, thank you for attending, and I look forward to tonight's discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tolliver Roberts. We appreciate you being here this evening. Now, I know everyone is excited and on edge to meet and all of our panelists this evening. So I'm going to give you a brief description of each and every one of them. The first one is Dr. James Smith Jr., Dr. James Smith Jr., President and CEO of GEMPAC. Dr. James Smith Jr., President and CEO, passionately works with learners, providing high-performance solutions in the areas of leadership, authenticity, diversity and inclusion, presentation skills, and personal power. The author, speaker, coach, and educator has provided his GEMPAC nationally and internationally, and has worked with leaders, managers, and individuals contributors. He also authored 3 books, with his last book, The No Excuse Guide to Success, being nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Our second panelist this evening is Tykia Chesson, class of 2009, president and owner of TC Unlimited Boutique. Tykia Chesson is the president and owner of the TC Unlimited Boutique in Chestnut Hill and Peirce College alum, class of 2009, earning a bachelor's degree in business administration from Peirce College, gave her the accounting, business, operations, and management knowledge to open a fashion boutique. Due to her phenomenal success online at various events within the tri-state area, she opened a boutique in Chestnut Hill section of Philadelphia. Tykia sells high quality, affordable, and designer fashions for women ranging from sizes small to 3XL. She has been a business owner since 2005 and stays abreast of the current trends in fashion, so her clients are effortlessly stylish, sophisticated, and classy in their appearance at any event. Her website is www.tc-unlimited.com. Our third panelist this evening is Bridget Word Cunningham, class of 1987, founder and owner of Canvas Skin Inc. Bridget Word Cunningham began her modeling career in the late 1980s and later in 1991 opened the leading minority-owned modeling agency in Philadelphia. In 2004, she attended Jean Madeline for aesthetics to further her knowledge of skincare, And in 2007, she opened Canvas Skin, a full-service beauty lounge. Canvas Skin provides or prides itself on educational platforms, career advancement, paid continual educational seminars, professional in-house development, employee developed service upgrades, and the overall commitment to clients. The company has developed a pre-teen or teen entity entitled Saving Grace Etiquette Academy to introduce women and young men the importance of grooming, hair regime, and skin and body care, along with social skills. We are now going to give each and every one of our panelists a few minutes to give a brief overview of their business to share with you. You will definitely have opportunities to ask questions, so make sure you put them in a chat. And if they're not answered, make sure you inform us so that they can be answered. We are now going to begin with our first guest. Janet, could you assist with this process?
I guess I'll be going first.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
On Wednesday.
Dr. Smith, are you well?
I'm doing phenomenal. I woke up this morning.
All right, all right. So we are so happy to have you here, and we know you have a lot of great information that you're going to share today. So why don't you start by giving us a little overview of who you are and your organization, so that our guests can get a little familiar with you, and so they would know how to direct their questions.
Sure, maybe this quote will sum it up. Oftentimes you hear people say, you only live once. That's not what I believe. You only die once, but you live every day. You live every day. In my organization, we work with individuals, we work with organizations, we do coaching and training, but it's about helping people get out of their own way, helping people lose weight, W-A-I-T, stop waiting for this to happen, waiting for that to happen, to personally empower yourself to take what you do, not to the next level. That's tired. That's where everybody wants the next level, next level. No, go beyond the next level. Put an S on level. Levels we've never experienced before. I've been to 30 plus countries, 45 plus states, started, back in 1984 for Prudential, went to the Vanguard Group, Core States Bank, and finally in 1998 started my own company. I'm from Philly, now live in Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
All right, well, thank you. I love the quote. I love the quote. And yes, you are telling us to go high and farther. So we love that advice. So now if we can have Takia Chesson, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and your organization before we move on with questions. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Good evening.
It is good. Yes, good evening. It is good to see you and have you here. So why don't I pass the mic to you, because they've heard enough from me tonight. So they would want to hear you. So I'm going to give the floor to you.
Great, wonderful. I guess I can't come up with a quote real quick, but I will say this: hard work and determination has led me where I am today. Of course, my education at Peirce was the platform for me to go into business, and I've been in business since 2005. I currently have a business, a boutique, and I'm actually about to expand into a bigger location in another month. So we have grown out of the space that we're in. And due to COVID, we had to change our business model totally. We had to be more social media, website, online, pickups, you name it, anything just to thrive in this changing unnormal time. So I do love fashion. I do love my customers. It's like a sister environment. You network, you get to get nice things, and you get to meet nice people. So just being a people person, loving fashion, loving who I am, and loving everyone that comes in my door continues to make my business thrive. And I'm just so happy to be on here as a panelist to let you know some of the things that we did to stay in business. A lot of my other business owner friends are no longer in business because they didn't have things in place. So that business platform, that education, the online, the social media has definitely helped me take my business, I guess I shouldn't say to the next level, but beyond that. So if there's anything I can do or anything anyone wants to ask me and pertaining to how I did that, I'm here tonight to see if I can assist you or give you some information about me further.
Oh, great. That was a wonderful introduction. You have your own style, which I like. And what's also important, what I heard from you this evening is about love. I've heard that word mentioned so much throughout your segment, just for right now, about your love for what you do, your love and what you're going to be doing and expanding. And that came through so much because we need to love what we do, because that love pushes us, right? It makes us want to go high or higher or whatever the terms that you want to use. That passion will drive you. And if you have that love, that could keep you moving and pushing. So we're going to tap into that a little bit more, because I know that there's some guests out there that wants to talk to you about that love and how you're making it work for you. So you just hold on and hold tight, because we're going to move on to Bridget Word Cunningham, because she is the founder and owner of Canvas Skin. So I need to talk to you later, Bridget, but I'm going to pass the mic to you because this is your moment. So welcome this evening, and so glad to have you here. And it's great to see you. So why don't you share your story with our guests tonight?
Thank you for having me. I just want to say to all of those who are listening, never feel like you are in a time bomb waiting for something to explode, because life just brings us so many challenges. And I am a graduate of Peirce, and I went in 1987. I attended thinking that I would be a court reporter, and no one could tell me that I wouldn't be, but look at me now. So I just want to say, first of all, life brings us so many different changes, and we have to be prepared for those changes. I never really understood how I got in this business, because it wasn't something I ever looked at in terms of desiring. It was something that was gifted. I can't explain it. It's just like somebody who knows how to sing. They just do it. So many years ago, I was just in the industry of doing makeup, really without any desire to ever do it, but it was just gifted in me. And so now I am in this business, have been in this business since 2009, but I started out as a model who had to learn how to do makeup. And as an esthetician, I wanted to give more to people. I wanted not only for them to feel like makeup was important and self-care was important, but I also wanted to go beyond that and go to the real skin. And I think so many times we'll put the makeup on, but we forget that after that's off, we have to learn how to take care of our own skin. So self-care, I've heard a few people mention it on the panel, as well as those who are a part of this group. And self-care is something that I really believe COVID taught us how to do, because I now know that people have now taken more time out to do things in their homes that they weren't normally doing, and communication was one of them. In addition to doing things like bubble baths and getting an opportunity to sit with the family and enjoy dinner. So I do want to say that sometimes when we get these twists and turns in our lives, we have to recognize that it's for a reason. And I think COVID has allowed us to settle down and to stop moving so fast. So because I am in the business of doing aesthetics, we at Canvas, we always want people when they come in to relax and enjoy the moment. And by the way, we have absolutely no clocks anywhere in our business, because we don't want you to look at what time it is. We want you, while you're there, to relax, enjoy the time that you still have. So I'm excited, and thank you so much for having me again.
Oh, thank you so much. So many words of wisdom coming through tonight. And definitely self-care is important. We've heard that tonight, loving what you do, but you also mentioned tapping into your skill set, knowing what your skills are, and not being afraid to do that, because I'm sure you all probably met some individuals that are afraid to step out on faith or what they truly believe in. It's self-doubt. You can be your own, enemy in reference to chopping down your own skills or dreams. So I'm sure we'll probably talk a little bit about that tonight, is believing in you and your power to be successful and not thinking negatively. Now, you may not always have the skill sets, but if you have that passion, that love, that drive, it will be able to help you to connect and get what you want. But definitely tapping into the skill sets. And I tell you, COVID, it's definitely negative. But I think what I'm hearing from you, it definitely brought out some positive people. And self-care is probably the biggest one, but also maybe just learning more about who you are and what you want in life. And it either confirms what you're doing is right for you, or if you need to move on into that other interest that you have. So we are now going to thank you all panelists for giving us a brief insight, a little bit into, the behind the scenes, you as a person. So people can get to know a little bit more about you personally. So they see the business, but they need to know what's the person or persons behind it. So you have given us a little bit of that tonight. So we want to have more, more conversations with you. So let's move on and try to ask a couple of questions if you don't mind. So the first question I have for you, as we going to monitor our chat room, but I want to throw this out to panelists. Tell us, how did you have to change your business model to function during COVID-19? Let me repeat that again so our audience can hear and I can present it to you again. How did you have to change your business model to function during COVID-19? So I'm going to start off with Dr. James. We're just going to try to go in order so we can have some kind of here. So Dr. James Smith, tell us a little bit about that.
March 19th is a day I'll never forget. It's 2 days after St. Patrick's Day. I was going to a breakfast meeting, Center City. Started at 8:30. I arrived around 8:10, got some breakfast, sat down at 8:25, checked my phone, last second emails or whatever, and 2 popped up right away from 2 different clients. But their message was the same: postponing the session until further notice. Those 2 clients, and I was going to be doing 4 days of training on site for them. Over $40,000 going like that.
Oh, wow.
Because my organization wasn't virus protected. Everything we did up to that point was in person. Whether it was speaking, coaching, training, we were live. We quickly found out that organizations were more concerned about people's safety than people development. So essentially, the lights went out. Can you say no income, no client income for 5 months? During that time, however, one of my favorite quotes is, when things go wrong, don't go with them. My mindset was, how can I flip this? How can I pivot? Had to restructure the website because my website was a pre-COVID website. Had to change all my offerings so that everything I do in person except physically touch you, I had to do it virtually. Now I teach virtual presentation skills, virtual DE&I, virtual leadership training, virtual coaching. But now we're hybrid, we're virus protected. But it didn't stop there. George Floyd was murdered. That really got to me, really got to me. Because when I saw what happened, I felt it was me. And it made me start thinking, with all that research I've done on authenticity, How authentic am I being with my clients, being with my colleagues? Am I colluding? Am I keeping it in? And I had this epiphany that my grandchildren, and I don't have any, but I was sitting there working. I had this epiphany that my grandchildren came up to me and said, Pop, what did you do when Mr. Floyd was murdered? Radio silence. Because at that point, I was saying what elected officials should do, what teachers should do, what educators should do, what athletes and entertainers should do. But it wasn't, what am I going to do? So a combination of COVID and the call to action for me, not just to show up as a trainer, a speaker, a consultant, but to show up as a Black man as well. And to take that authenticity with me everywhere. So my organization this year has been flipped. We're now virus protected, but we ooze of authenticity, keeping it 100. And if we lose clients as a result, they're not our clients to have. I'm not going to sit on my stuff anymore and not share how I feel about certain things that are happening. And our organization has grown tremendously. I'm now teaching for 3 other schools, some internationally. This has been a year of conviction, clarity, courage, and turning it into a champion. I appreciate a lot of Corona blessings this year.
All right. Thank you so much. Moving on with the same question, if we can have Tykia Chesson.
Okay, so how do you come behind that? But what I plan to say is that COVID actually did stop my business. It went to a halt, just like him. For 3 months, I didn't know that we would be closed as long as we were. So my mind started racing as soon as I knew we had to close. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to survive? This is my only income. So immediately I said, well, then the incident happened with Floyd. So then we had to think about looting. And because I have a storefront that's full of glass, how do I protect my merchandise? What do I think my landlord is going to do? So my mind was all over the place. I immediately removed most of my content from my establishment and brought it into my house. I did home shows before. I was mobile before for a long period of time. I brought all my merchandise to my home. I set up my basement, my dining room, my living room, every part of the house that I could use. And I started going on social media. I went live on Facebook Live, and I pretty much told everyone exactly what was going on, my customers. Hey, I'm not open, but I am going to start selling my merchandise from my home. And I will ship it out to you in a matter of 2 to 3 days safely. I'll make one trip. And for some surprise, people still supported me. I was surprised. I have videos of just looking at all the packages I did. In 2 days, I had over 50-something packages. So I transitioned my business to my home. I went on 2 to 3 days that week, and it started go to about, I think it escalated to about 5 days until I pretty much sold everything I had. And I felt really good about it. I said, this can work. And because everything was shut down, the stores was limited, closed, or nobody was really getting anything, I made it like an entertainment segment. It was like my iPod on social media. So I made it entertaining, and I sold things to my customers. I went up to 120 people joining me one night. That was like, wow, people are really interested in what I have to say and what I'm selling. So I took everything home and went to social media. And that kept me afloat. I did not receive any assistance, no unemployment, no help, no other income, but the hard work that I put out there. Until this day, still haven't received anything. But anywho, I will say that people are very supportive of my business and other businesses, and they wanted to support, and this is how they show their support. And I continue doing this now. Twice a week, I do it from my store instead of my home. I get on Facebook Live and I sell my merchandise for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we ship it out. And now we have customers internationally, Florida, DC, Japan, you name it. And this was keeping me afloat. This is why I'm expanding, so I can have room to continue to do this, because this is now my new normal. Having social media for my business, my website has grown. I actually have to upgrade it because everything is happening so fast. So it was hard, but I think different strategies, different things that I tried. I didn't know it would work. It did, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, all right. I love your energy, your passion, your drive. If you can't go with plan A, there's always a plan B or C or D, but it doesn't matter how far you go down in the alphabet because that D may be better than plan A. You never know what you can do unless you are tested in reference to your capability and what you can do. So there's no one way that I'm hearing from you and the rest of our panelists of being successful, right? There's always more than one road and one way. So although you may have started off a particular way, you may be ending another way that may be bigger and better for you. So you never know how successful you could be unless you are stretched. Good going. I can't wait to visit your store. And I've definitely gained some insights to some other services tonight, but that's just me. We're going to definitely move on to our third panelists. If you can ask the same question, how did you have to change your business model to function during COVID-19? If we can have Bridget, if you can answer that question for us.
Yes.
Give us your perspectives. Yes.
My model changed drastically. For one, unlike Dr. Smith and Kia, my business allows me to touch you. So you can imagine the type of feeling I felt knowing that if I go back into our business, how can I have 6 feet distancing if every service that we do requires us to be hands-on? It was the hardest thing for me to even conceive. I was shut down March the 21st. We had just received, because we sell retail as well as services, we received 3 large boxes that just sat because I didn't even have the energy or the know-how to slice them open and put them out. I was very, very overwhelmed. Came home and thought about it, of how would I go back. The model that we had, of course, meant customer service. It meant rolling out the red carpet, giving people roses in their water. I mean, it was just a very hands-on business. And now we are in 3.5 months of trying to figure it out. And quite frankly, I didn't want to go back, because I didn't want to think of how do I put it all back together again when it was perfect when I left. And not even thinking, I remember one of our clients came in with a mask on, I would say March the 1st, and we all laughed. We're like, what are you doing with that mask on? And his response was, we all will wear it soon. And it just didn't hit me. It didn't dawn on me that what he was speaking would be our reality. So going back, we didn't get back until July 1st. Hair salons went back a week before, but we're skin girls, we're estheticians. So we went back July 1st. And with us going back, everything that we do, I have to touch you, including, of course, pedicures and manicures, but then we get even closer to that. We get into waxing, we get into facials, we get into body exfoliations, and then massages. So the type of money we had to spend just to come up to code was astronomical. Then you have to think, will the people come back? Most of my clientele is between 40 and 70. I just felt like the ones that were over 60 just did not want to come back based on what they had heard and how fearful it would be. And then even the younger ones probably would not come back just due to uncertainty. And so I had to somehow get on Facebook, which I did. I used our platform, and I just spoke from the heart and just explained to them, although we will do everything in our in our imagination, nothing is guaranteed. And so because I have to touch you and because I have to do it within less than 6 feet, how can I do it? And so I just, from the heart, spoke, and I had so many people on that day just give me a shout out and say, Bridget, it can be done. We will support you. And I can truly tell you, there are all types of platforms, but what we use is word of mouth. What we use is the reference that says she's good stock. And it helped us. Our first week, we were solidly booked. I couldn't even believe it. I could not, because even myself, I would have had questions to ask as a client going in. So we did the mask, but then we did a sneeze shield, and then we did a face shield because we wanted people to feel comfortable. Now, were they? I'm not sure they all were. There was one woman who wanted a lip wax and an eyebrow wax. And if you could have saw her face when I told her, if you're getting a lip wax, you have to remove your mask. I have 3 masks on, but there is no way that I can do this service with your mask on. So I said, think about it and I'll come back to see you. So I left her in the room basically for 20 minutes because I just didn't want her to feel the pressure and to be uncertain about what she decided to do. She did get it, and she's been back twice. Now, what happened to us in terms of our model is we had to get tested. We had to ask questions. I was going to get a temperature gauge, but then I found out one of the pastors from a very large congregation didn't even have a fever, and he had COVID. So that wasn't very sensible for us to do that, but we have to ask all these questions. And then what about the cleaning of house cleaning? It was unimaginable. Every person, we have to clean doorknobs, we have to clean seats, we have to clean bathrooms. And I just didn't have the manpower to do it, to be honest with you. We're a small little business. And we have 4 people that work for us. And then I thought, when I said I wasn't going back because I just couldn't figure it out, I thought of those 4 girls, those 4 women who rely on me for an income. And I think because they're so much younger, that is what pushed me to go forward. That's what gave me the incentive to say, you know what, they're waiting on you, and they need you to be a person of your word, and they need to see you in a state of being a person who takes charge. And so we went back, and although I had all these questions in the back of my mind, I didn't dare share them with them because they came back excited, and they came back with ideas, and they came back with wanting to work. And so we pushed forward. And I still, to this day, I don't understand how it happened, but I'm so grateful that it did. This change for us, we have been solidly booked. Now, it has leveled off because, of course, when people were starving to get services, it was straightforward, going straight to the top. And then it has plateaued a little bit. However, we are still busy. And we are now adding on, we just added on massages as of October the 1st, we added on massage. So that was the last service that we put onto our menu to regulate ourselves back to this new normal. And I would like to say that to everyone really quickly, anything that you desire to do, it doesn't come easy. And it doesn't always come with some form of a manual. It just doesn't. And we were, although connected to Harrisburg, giving us information on what to do, everything else was saying, you can't do that. You gotta stay within 6 feet. You gotta do. And so it was a mixed information. It was just mixed up and it was jumbled. And we had to make sense of something that we had never had before. And quite frankly, it was very, very difficult. 2 of my colleagues did close down. And they decided to work with a chain because they didn't want to go through the familiarities or unfamiliarities of how to work through. So I would like to say that this new change brought forth us to push creativity. we had to think differently to be able to perform our job. And then we had to also realize stagnation is never a form of being successful. You can't stay stagnated. And in this industry that I'm in the beauty industry, it changes all the time. You're wearing a pink lip this season, and next season, you're wearing a neon green lipstick. I mean, it never stops. So change was never a problem for us. To change, we did it. But this was a change that we had never done before, and it affected everybody. So I just want to say, you're made for it. Whatever we're going through, we're made for. We just got to learn how to get it done, and it can be done. And I'm a living witness. I did think, why did I quit my corporate job? Why? I just kept saying, I can't believe that I'm in this. I'm like 10 years into about retirement, and then I'm faced with this. Like, I could have done it differently, but it wasn't in the cards for me. So I'll just tell everyone to push until your creativity becomes a part of who you are, because it will.
Oh, I love that. I love that last statement. And I appreciate, as well as our guests, the rawness of your emotions with each and every one of the panelists, because, we know that there's some businesses that are making it and unfortunately are really struggling at this point. But really to hear that, hey, I was afraid, or I'm afraid, I don't know what my next steps are going to be or were going to be, and I had concerns, or I had some resistance, or I had to just wait until I could just get my mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to handle what I have to do. But also I have this family of people that rely on me. So being a CEO or the owner also comes with leadership, but also one of my students is on the line here, followership as well. And learning how to balance those two in this particular time. So there's a lot of questions out there that I've seen in the chat, and I'm definitely going to pass the mic to Dr. Glenn and Dr. Littlefield. But before we do that, I ask that all of our guests, please put your name in your picture according to how you registered, so that we can pick you for prizes. So it's not only that we can address you this evening, but also we want to make sure that, if there's a match with the prizes that we're going to give out. So you don't want to miss that. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Glenn and Dr. Littlefield, because I know that there's some questions out there, and you can then help get those answered for us. So Dr. Glenn?
Okay, thank you, Malika. The first question is from Rafiq. He's asking, Takia, is your expansion the result of another competitor's closing, acquisition, or merger? The question again is your expansion the result of another competitor's closing, acquisition, or merger?
Actually, no, it's not. My expansion is, I've been in my location for 4 years, and it was a startup place, and I've outgrown it. And because I'm now doing more online business and more website business, I need more space for shipping, to process, to even house the items. So I need the space. And because it is a trying time, I was kind of like, should I move? But I thought the opportunity of finding a new location, possibly purchasing one, but I'm leasing, would be great because of a lot of places closing or not being able to move tenants in at this particular time. I started looking around and said, maybe this is a great opportunity for me to get a newer place, a bigger place at a good price. So the business mind went in like, hey, let me seize the moment because there might be some opportunities out there. And it was some places that were empty and had been empty pre-COVID. So they were willing and dealing and, willing to work with you. So that's what made me make that move.
Good, wonderful. Thank you. We also have another question from Adrian, and this question is to all of the panelists. Do you feel stronger since COVID-19 or more vulnerable? Her question again is, do you feel stronger since COVID-19 or more vulnerable? To all the panelists, if you could address that question.
I feel both. Number one, I believe vulnerability is power because vulnerability says, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I feel stronger and I feel more creative. The universe said, here, show me what you got. You mastered this. Now we're taking it higher. So it has pushed me to be on my toes to continue to take things higher. So overall, this was a year of Corona blessings because it challenged me. It pushed me. We get so comfortable, so comfortable. We have to become allergic to comfort, allergic to mediocrity, allergic to okay. And Corona said, all right, show me what you got.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bridget, would you like to address that question?
Sure. I think both as well. You do feel uncertain, but when we think about it, nothing is certain. I mean, when we really start to look at things, nothing is certain. I thought I was going to Peirce to be a court reporter. So, but the excitement or the ability to say, I'm going to make it through, to me, is given to me by every day seeing a person come in our business. I had a 91-year-old woman come in to receive her manicure, and I was overwhelmed, for one, that she would even consider coming to get a service that really isn't necessarily needed. But think of these times. These times are stressful. These times are people are ready to get out. They're having cabin fever. So for her, just to come to a safe place and for us to be open to receive her was all that she wanted. And the only service, I shouldn't say only, but the service that she received was a manicure. And she felt so good leaving out with her nails done. So when you get that type of volume of people coming in almost daily to say thank you, you're open, it's rewarding enough to say, I'll give it my shot, the best shot that I have. And I don't look at it as if it's an overwhelming task. I look at it as it being just a challenge. And every day I have to meet that challenge. And I just meet it one person at a time.
Okay. Bridget, just to follow up, Ava is asking, what is the address of your business?
Oh, it's 8327. That's 8327 Germantown Avenue. We're in Chestnut Hill as well. And our website is canvasskin.com.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Takia, would you like to address that question too?
Sure. I think we're stronger. We're thinking outside of the box. We're doing things differently, but we're stronger. A lot of businesses struggle. I'm down the street from Canvas. I am a member of her Canvas place, and I'm telling you, it's been a struggle where we are being minorities in business. It's a struggle, and COVID definitely it helped and it hurt. But I think we're stronger because now more information is out there. We thinking outside of the box. We have resources that are a little bit reliable before they weren't. And I think we're stronger because now we know what to do and how to do it. So I would say stronger.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Glenn, can I add one more thing?
Yes.
I don't even think we're thinking outside the box. I think we've gotten rid of the box. So we don't even have that to think outside of anymore. No limits, no limits.
Yes.
That's where we've gotten to.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. We have another comment from Charmin for Bridget. I'm a mobile therapist. My daughter is in Florida with touch therapy. How did you make the customer feel comfortable and even your texts?
It was very difficult. I don't think the technicians had a problem because we had already done a little bit of going in and talking and explaining and somewhat doing a few services on ourselves prior to opening. With a lot of our clients, we've already practiced this type of how should I say it, this type of housekeeping where we made sure that we were correct in everything that we did. So it wasn't something unfamiliar in terms of keeping our hands clean and keeping sheets and wash. That wasn't unfamiliar. What the unfamiliar situation became was when people became apprehensive. So we had to let them know, are you sure you are ready to be touched? Are you sure you are ready to lay down for an hour? Because we didn't want someone deciding after they've made, because let's face it, we've all changed our mind in the midst of something. So we wanted to make sure that they understood whether they got up or not, they will still be charged for the full service. And then we allowed the actual client to see us wash our hands. We allowed the client sanitize the entire bed before we even made it. We allowed the client to see our sheets come in now plastic bags that have to be torn open. So, and then there are a few sheets that are now paper sheets, disposable sheets. They're not the most comfortable thing to lie on, but you feel as though at least the client knows that they are disposable and they've never been used. So that's the things that we had to do to let our clients know that you're in good care and we're going to take care of you. And let's face it, we never know, because I want to say this, we did have a scare at one point. A person came in not knowing that they had COVID. They left and 3 days later called us and told us they did, which first of all, transparency is something that we ask everyone to do. So we all had to get retested again. All of us were negative, which was great. And then those people, we don't have clients in the same room as other clients, so we felt comfortable, but we still gave the information to the clients who were there at that particular time. Okay. So they tested negative. So it was a blessing for us, but we've really allowed some of these things to be really forefront now. Not that they weren't before, but they're so in space now that we can't mess up. We can't. Even fingernail polishes. When a client picks up a polish, we have to ask them not to pick it up, because then we have to wipe them all down. So we just ask them to point to the color that they want, and we will pick it up, and then we have to wipe them down once we're done. There's a lot of housekeeping. Trust me, there's a lot of housekeeping.
Yes. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all of our panelists for addressing those questions. Boy, this time is just moving so fast this evening. I'd like to pass the mic back over to Dr. Singleton, who is then going to thank everyone, and then we're going to move on with the rest of our program.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Glenn. Before we move on, I think it might be time for a giveaway. And I know Dr. Littlefield is standing by and ready to call some names and pass out some gifts. So this might be a good time to do so before we move along with the agenda with our next panelist. Dr. Littlefield, are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So here's what we have. We've got 55 fabulous people on this call right now. So how do we go about picking someone, and what is it that you're going to win? So all of these little things here have your names on them. Every one of you have your name on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 names, and what the winners need to do is private message me. So go to the chat, and instead of putting your address to everyone, you can just put it to my name, and I'll make sure that you get this book. And the book that we've selected for this round of prizes, it is called Forever Employable: How to Stop Looking for Work and Let Your Next Job Find You. And this was written by Jeff Gothelf, maybe is how we say that name, Gothelf. And if you were one of the lucky winners, we will send this directly to you from Amazon. So it's not going to come from me. It's going to be drop shipped from Amazon just for logistics purposes. And if you happen to be interested in the book and not have your name called, you could always look it up on Amazon. It's an easy find. Again, it's called Forever Employable: How to Stop Looking for Work and Let Your Next Job Find You. So we've got all these names here, 55. I have to admit, I didn't put in the team. We're not in there to win it. We can't win this. So let's see who the first person is. Teresa McGlinchey. Teresa McGlinchey, are you on the line still? I hope so. And the next person is Donna Felder. If Donna Felder, if you're still on here, you please send me a message. And the last Gonna mix them up again. The last person's name is, I hope I say this right, Sasha Uden. Sasha, I think I've seen you in the chat already tonight too. So please make sure that you, yeah, so here are the names right here.
Could you autograph it? That would be an honor, yeah.
I'd have to go visit Amazon to do that. So I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if I can pull that one off. But that's okay. But yeah, so please make sure you message me your address and we will take care of getting these prizes to you. And then as Dr. Singleton has been saying, make sure that we can see your name as it appears on the way that you registered. The way that you do that is you just go to your picture and in the little 3 dots up in the upper corner, you'll see an option to say rename. That way I don't see that it's just a single name or it's a phone or something like that, that I can see your name and then we can cross-reference it to who else here anyway. We want to make sure that we know who's here. So I've got all the other names right here ready to be drawn for the last prize. So we won't get to that until we come back after our last speaker. So congratulations, you 3. There's still more prizes to win.
All right, thank you, Dr. Littlefield, and congratulations to our 3 guests that won prizes. So you want to stay on, not only to win that grand prize, but to hear what our next panelists have to say. So once you sit tight as I introduce to you Doug Williams, System Director, Planning and Design, Facilities Design and Construction. As a System Director of Planning and Design for Mainline Health, Doug is responsible for all facilities planning, functional and space programming, and design services for this 1,300-bed hospital system, which includes Lincoln Medical Center, Bryn Mawr Hospital, Paoli Hospital, Riddle Hospital, Bryn Mawr Rehabilitation Hospital, and Mermount Treatment Center. Woo! Doug has over 30 years of experience in facilities management and over 25 years in academic and healthcare planning. He has the responsibility for a significant
Dr. Singleton, we lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Did you hear anything I said?
A little bit.
Okay, so I need to start over. I'm so sorry. Do I need to start over?
Yep, please can start again.
Sure. I'm sorry, everyone. And I had a great speech too. Again, you all, I apologize. I want to introduce to you again, Dr. Doug Williams, System Director, Planning and Design, Facilities Design and Construction. As a System Director of Planning and Design for Mainline Health, Doug is responsible for all facilities planning, functional and space programming, and design services for this 1,300-bed hospital system, which includes Lincoln Medical Center, Bryn Mawr Hospital, Paoli Hospital, Riddle Hospital, Bryn Mawr Rehabilitation Hospital, and Mermount Treatment Center. Doug has over 30 years of experience in facilities management and over 25 years in academic and healthcare planning. He's had the responsibility for a significant number of campus master plans and major inpatient and outpatient projects of varying complexities and project types and sizes. So I'm glad you heard me this time around because I wanted to give you a grand introduction of Doug Williams. Doug?
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate being a part of this. You explained my role a little bit. Well, I came to this a little different than the other guests. So we were forced into this situation with the COVID, and we had to learn everything we can to keep the hospitals open and keep them afloat and keep people safe. So we got into the situation. I had to pretty much study everything out there, the CDC websites, the infection control websites, everything we could get our hands on, we had to get to study. And we have a lot of experience anyway doing projects. And based on that, we were able to develop guidelines for our systems and keep our hospitals operating during the virus. because, you know, we experienced surges, we experienced lots of patients, a lot more than we were accustomed to, and we had to take drastic steps to make the hospitals work. And because of that, at the end of us getting our hospitals ready, we were able to, you know, we got a team together. They said, well, we know how to do this. Let's offer these services elsewhere. So we were able to put together a package to offer it out to other institutions, other universities, academic centers, colleges, and we developed guidelines, which I wrote for each of these, you know, each of these universities, and we're able to sell our services to a lot of the other institutions. So it's something that was thrust upon us, but we had to conquer it and get over it and learn as much as we can and become experts in the field right away, and then be able to sell our services elsewhere. So that's just a general introduction of what we've done during the COVID pandemic.
Right. So can you get a little bit more into how did you get Mainline Health ready for returning employees and to resume business during COVID-19?
So, as again, when we encountered COVID-19, we established command centers. We had a lot of work that we had to do. A lot of our staff were sent home, and we had to figure out how to get them to work remotely. It's something we had always thought of. I mean, some people were ahead of us in that regard, and we were able to respond rapidly, get our systems in place so that employees could work remotely, and then develop guidelines for getting them back into space. So part of it was really reentry, but a lot of it was really having the hospitals get ready for surges. You know, we're anticipating a lot of surge with patients. We had to evaluate all of our rooms, evaluate spaces that were not necessarily typically used for patients. And once we got through that, we had all this corporate staff at home, and we had a lot of people. We actually had stopped elective surgeries, and people might be familiar with that. We were not able to offer that, and we were sort of bleeding a lot of, you know, red ink at the time. So hospital systems had to figure out how do we get patients back? How do we get the system back in operation? So we had to take drastic steps to do so. We had to install, you know, barriers, the glass barriers. A lot of people opted for plexiglass barriers. Mainline Health wanted to come up with a system, and I wanted to have something that was consistent throughout, so that if you walked into a Mainline Health space, no matter where it was, if it was a hospital space or if it was a outpatient space, that it would look similar and we'd have something consistent. So I designed a system that we're able to use, and instead of going with plexiglass, because we do a lot of cleaning. After patients, we do cleaning several times a day, a lot of these practices. We decided not to use plexiglass because it started, you know, it scratched easily. So we went with glass and developed a glass partition system that we could install and set up for the long term. That could hold us for a few years until we know we could get through this. Able to engage contractors to go out. We had about 50 sites to go out and get them done, about 450 installations, actual installations of glass, while competing for glass throughout the country with other systems and other institutions who needed, you know, barriers in place. So we, based on our guidelines, which I wrote along with my team, we were able to put together a comprehensive list of things that we had to do, or things that we felt were necessary to protect our patients, our staff, and all of our visitors, et cetera. So it was a challenge that we were able to get up to it. And I remember Dr. Glenn was over at my house sometimes and saw me struggling to be the expert that people wanted me to be. But we were able to get that done and develop all of our guidelines for getting patients back, getting staff back into space. So I don't know if you want me to, I mean, there's a lot of detail. I don't want to get into a lot of the detail of it unless I don't want to bore people here with it, but it was, to us it was interesting at the time and very exciting to be able to be on the forefront of making this work and making sure that our hospitals could reopen safely for patients.
I'm going to jump right in real quick, Doug. There's a student, her name is, I think, Charmin Knight. She said that I'm honored to meet you. I see your name on everything that comes across my desk. I work for IBC with Mainline as one of my main accounts for Provider Network. And together these changes were hard, but the patient and provider were always number one. And thank you for your input.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Your work is definitely being seen, and we thank you for all of your efforts. You know, during this time, it has been very challenging for a lot of companies and corporations of how do we make it through this time. But you mentioned something, longevity. It's just not planning for today, but how do we plan for the future? So it's not a Band-Aid over something or a quick fix. It is looking at how do we survive this moving past right now. And so the box is gone. So it's no longer thinking outside the box. It's how do we live? How do we live so that we can be effective and efficient, but also providing the services that we need. And the transitions for a lot of individuals have not been easy because we've been stretched. And sometimes when we're stretched out of our comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable. And because of that stretch, we may think, hey, this is not going to work, but it may be a stretch of you actually succeeding. So, you know, for each and every one of you to talk about what that looked like for you, mentally, emotionally, physically, because it has an impact not only on you, but also the people that work for you or family and friends, and how you were able to utilize your network system just to bounce things off of, or just to talk to about what is going on right now for people who are art entrepreneurs or in the field that you are in, because some of you just spoke about that you are hands-on. So we have to look at those hands-on services, but also individuals that have to interact with people. So we're going to talk a little bit. Do we have any more questions in the chat, Charlene, or excuse me, Dr. Glenn? Any more questions or points?
This was a question that we had created, and I'd like to share this with all the panel. How did you stay motivated through this and not give up? How did you stay motivated through this and not give up?
So who is that one addressed to, Dr. Glenn?
That question is addressed to everyone.
Okay.
How did you stay motivated through this and not give up? So if everyone could address that question.
Well, I
I'll
think
answer first.
I think for me, it was just an opportunity for me to realize that we were all going through it. So it wasn't an isolated incident. A specific group of people would be affected. So I think to really be motivated, you have to sort of understand where people are, and you have to feel where they are. And everyone was not at the same space at the same time. So what I did and what Canvas did, again, we gave a person a chance before we even touched them, before their service even started, to have a chance to back out if they chose to do so because they felt they were secure coming in, but for whatever reason changed their mind. And then understand that that is okay. And understand that we can reschedule you, or you can just decide at another time to determine to come in. So just having that empathy, that's what encouraged me.
Thank you.
Dr. Glenn, for me, it wasn't an option. I am so wired to figure it out. When your situation changes, you have to change how you show up in that situation. When my little guy was diagnosed on the autistic spectrum, nonverbal, I knew based on his diagnosis. He wasn't going to be a speaker like his father. He wasn't going to travel the way his father does. He wasn't going to, and I stopped focusing on what he couldn't do and start focusing on what he could do. So in this situation right now, my focus wasn't on, I can't do this, I can't do that. It was, now what can I do? Given the circumstances and my experience, how else, like Takia, how else can I reach them? I just didn't figure it out yet, but I'm going to.
Good. Thank you.
I would just add to that is I have a strong faith. I'm very spiritual, and I just believed in myself, and I just believed that things were going to change eventually. And I was just going to put myself in that predicament. Well, what can I do to make a change? So bringing the stuff into my house and having my children, my husband helping me was the only option. Look, mom is the entrepreneur, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm a hustler. I'm a survivor. I just have to make it work by any means necessary. And I just had that mind frame, and I always do. I'm going to make it work. If this is my passion, this is my goal, this is my dream, this is my dream job, then I'm going to make this work. You know, even if I had to downsize it or didn't have a location, I was going to make it work.
Good.
Dr. Glenn, the big thing about that is, with regard to children, oftentimes they become who you be. They become who you be. Now, as she is becoming, they're watching mom do this. Trust me, when they get older, they're not going to run away from a virus. They're gonna, mom bought the shop inside.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. And then I'd like to just share a comment. Dr. Rita Tolliver Roberts said that everyone on this panel has a survivor mind frame, and it creates endless options. So I would totally agree with that. Any other questions? Any other questions? If you can put them in the chat.
Just I had a quick question for Dr. Williams, Dr. Doug Williams. Medicaid is very important, and I want to see how did Mainline Health, if there's any way that you managed to with the rise. So, you know, United States had 40 million unemployment cases. You know, I applied for Medicaid. Lots of other individuals applied for Medicaid. This hasn't been too easy, even applying for unemployment benefits. Just want to see, how did Mainline Health have a different approach, aside from your competitors, to make Medicaid more accessible? Perhaps there was a liaison with a different hospital. Was there any change in relations to insurance firms, partners of you, particularly to you know, just the whole revolving of Medicaid? Because it's interesting. I'm sure there's been changes regarding with Medicaid.
So I'm not in the operations field, but I know Mainline Health is dedicated to taking care of patients no matter what their insurance or whatever their situation is. It's part of our mission, and we actually increased, we updated our mission statements today to value community and value all types of you know, people needing help. And we added actually, our diversity group added some language around, you know, supporting anti-racism efforts and efforts to make sure that all patients are treated equally in our systems. So whether you're on Medicaid or on private insurance or whatever, you can, I can guarantee you that Mainline Health, you'll be treated equally and fairly. And it's not something that is going to be an issue based on what type of insurance you have or how you're protected. It's just not an issue at Mainline Health. And I can follow up to get additional answers for you if you need.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Doug, someone else had a question. Ava, she said, what was Mainline Health's model of staff returning to the office site safely?
So so I'm actually on a task force looking at remote work and trying to encourage So our senior leadership is, we've been successful at this, and people are working from home. So why are we bringing them back to the office? And we're actually going through now determining who can come back, or if you need to come back, and trying to reclassify different jobs to see what type of support we can provide for remote workers. But we don't have a plan for return to work as yet. We had planned to go back in July, got pushed till September, got pushed till the end of the year. It's going to keep pushing off. There's no as long as people are comfortable working, we want to make sure that everybody's happy. There's people who have issues with childcare and children who may not have school or may have remote school. So Mainline Health is we care about all of our employees. So at this point, we don't have a time frame for staff to come back to the office. Everybody's working remotely. We've put systems in place to make sure that they can work successfully at home.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think we have all the questions addressed, I think. Okay, well then I'm going to turn the mic over to Dr. Littlefield, who is going to announce our grand prize winner.
Okay, here we go. So first of all, we have an update. There's another prize available. So I have heard back from Sasha and Donna on the book. So awesome, they will be coming your way. But that also means that I get to pick another name because I didn't hear from the third person. So out of all of these names that we have here, okay, let's see who it's gonna be. Oh, this is a good one. This is Bernita Jones-Wiggins. You just got a prize. So send me your address in the message link, and that way we will send the book out to you. So you get the book. And now let's play a game. Dr. Singleton, give me a number, and it'll be the number tag that I pull out. That will be the prize, okay? So pick a number between 1 and 5, and I'll pick those tags, and then it'll be that one that'll be the winner. Because I don't want this to be fixed or rigged or anything like that.
Right. I am so ready with the number 3.
3. Here's 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. Okay. Charmaine Knight. So Charmaine Knight just won our grand prize. And the grand prize, as a reminder, is a 3-hour session with Michelle Larkin, who's the founder and CEO of UMI Connections. And this is a firm dedicated to igniting creativity and inspiring collaboration in the workplace. So it's a $375 value. Charmaine, are you on the call?
I'm right here.
Yay, you're here.
Yes, thank you so much.
So please send me your contact information as well in the private chat. Make sure you just send it to me so unless you want it to share with the whole world, that's okay. But I'm quite okay with it coming to me privately, and then we will connect to see how to go about getting you in touch with Michelle Larkin.
I really
So our winners, we've got 3 great winners. We've got Bernita, Sasha, and Donna. And then, of course, we've got Charmaine as the grand prize winner.
I am
Dr. Singleton,
honored.
you want to bring it on home?
Congratulations again. I told you number 3 was my lucky number, and you won. So congratulations. Enjoy. I would like to thank everyone for attending this evening. Let's give it up for our panelists who joined us this evening and shared their truth, their knowledge of how they are successful through COVID-19, giving strategies and tips as they expand their businesses, expand what they are doing. We appreciate you. We appreciate your truth and just taking the time out tonight to join us during our Peirce College Midweek, and I'm sure that our guests have learned so much from you. So we have your information. I'm sure they'll be contacting you and using your services. So thank you again to everyone who presented. I want to thank you, the guests, for attending this fabulous, magnificent, informative Zoom Midweek program this evening, because we wouldn't be able to do what we need to do if you didn't attend. So thank you again for attending. And we want to say, last but not least, have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful evening. Stay safe, and be successful. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Great night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you so
night.
much,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, are we all still on here?
Yeah, we are dwindling down.